everyone, and welcome to Transformational Tuesdays. I'm Teresa Velardi, your host for this time of inspiration, education, motivation, and conversation focused on key ingredients necessary to create positive change in our lives, commonly called transformation. And I'm sure you call it transformation as well, otherwise you would not be here. And I am excited to have each and every one of you here with me. Today, we are going to be speaking with Doreen Harper, who is going to be with me every 6 weeks on something new that we're going to call Tech Time. And we're going to have an opportunity for you to ask your technology questions, and Doreen's going to talk about that in just a minute. But let me just give you a little bit of information about Doreen, who she is, why I invited her, and what actually she is going to be talking about with us today. So Doreen Harper is my personal online business manager. And just to give you a little bit of a bio for her, after 23 years in corporate America, she retired in 2009. Throughout her stint in corporate America, she had the pleasure of being employed in the hospitality, real estate, accounting, and financial industries. Doreen spent 18 years of her corporate career in the financial industry, servicing different departments and companies. She has worked in legal and compliance, mergers and acquisitions, and as well as collections. Doreen considers herself very fortunate to have partnered with CEOs and top management of Fortune 500 companies, all of whom allowed her to continue to expand her skills and to grow. Doreen's extensive training includes office management, event coordination, social media strategies, implementation and management. She's an author and a speaker support person. She is also has done data research and continues to do that, marketing, project management, multimedia media presentations, and so much more. This is a girl of all trades. So, and one of the reasons why she is my my very own personal assistant and online business manager. She is proud to be an active member and volunteer for many online and local organizations that support authors, coaches, entrepreneurs, and speakers. And for more information on her, you can visit www.ambitions.com, or you can email her at dharper@ambitions.com. And there's so much more involved in her bio, and you can read that on the registration page and also on her site. She brings so much to the table. And I want to say welcome, 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 Doreen.
Thank you. As always, it's an honor to be here. And I'm really looking forward and I'm excited about this new segment that we're adding to Transformational Tuesdays. I think it's going to be really great, not only for our listening audience, but I think we'll all be able to learn stuff here.
Yeah. So today, I know you told me that we're going to talk about Gmail, but I want to make everybody else aware before we get started on the things that you're going to bring to the table today. I want everybody to I want to make everybody aware that Transformational Tuesdays has a little bit of a new look. And we're going to be talking about the contact page with Doreen as we get into this technology segment that we're going to be bringing you every 6 weeks. So you can actually mark it on your calendar that we're going to be having a technology conversation every 6 weeks, starting today as the first one. So if there's things, and Doreen's going to talk more about this, if there are programs that you've been looking at and not quite sure if it's going to fit your needs, if there are things that you need to know that you've been stumped with, there's going to be a way for you to communicate with us in between segments, and we will do our very best to address each and every one of your questions. And Doreen is going to go into that more. I am going to actually turn this whole entire call over to you, Doreen, since you're the expert in this field. And I'm going to just pop in with some questions now and then, and I would ask all of you who are on the call, if you have a question and you're on the phone, you can press *9 on your phone and it will have you I will be able to see you raise your hand. If you're on video, hi Teresa, you can just either physically raise your hand or you can just click on the bottom there where it says raise hand, and I will recognize you so you can ask your question of Doreen. Okay, so Doreen, let's get started. I know you have a lot to cover, so I'm going to just turn it over to you so we can move forward, and everybody, I'm going to be learning as well. So go for it.
So first, I just wanted to enlighten everybody how the call is going to work. Each segment, I will bring to the table something that I feel is new and exciting, and I will share with you how you can implement it into your business. Along with that, we'll have a Q&A session. So if there's any technical questions that you have, then by all means, raise your hands, and Teresa will acknowledge you, and we'll get those questions answered for you. On top of doing that, we are also going to have, if you go to the contact page on Transformational Tuesdays, you'll be able to submit your questions so that on the next segment, we'll be able to answer your questions for you. And no question is out of the realm. A lot of people try to figure out what's best for their business and what may or may not work for their business. And what they end up doing is spending money for technology that may not even pertain to their business. So we're here to help you understand something prior to actually dipping into it. All right. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to start off this call, and we're going to discuss Gmail and the advantages of that platform for small businesses. Okay. If you do not have a business email address, I highly, highly recommend that you look at the business applications for Gmail. For $50 a year, you can get a business email address with your own domain. So if your domain is thesky'sthelimit.com, and you do have a website and everything else, and you want to be mobile, I highly recommend going to Gmail, going to the Google Business, and directing your email to Doreen at thesky'sthelimit.com. Okay, this will enable you to be able to utilize all of the different plugins and everything else that Gmail has to offer. I recommend Gmail for small businesses for various reasons, but Google was meant for business purposes, unlike Yahoo and MSN and everything else. And Google is the one platform that is ever expanding and always adding different types of plugins so that it makes your day easier. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. And in sharing my screen, we're going to look at my Gmail account. And the one thing that I really want to emphasize here is that Gmail is mobile. And being mobile, you can put it on any of your phones, and it is going to work. And the one plugin that I'm going to show you today is a plugin that will certainly help you on time management. And that plugin is called Sorted. And if you look over to the side of my screen, you're going to see a little red button, and it says Sorted. And if I expand Sorted, it's going to take me to another screen, which is directly connected to my inbox. And when I say it's directly, all of my emails are sitting over here. And I've left some stuff in here just so that I can show you how this is going to work. Sorted is a plugin that you can add to your Gmail account that will allow you to take your emails and sort them in a manner that's going to benefit you and help you put a little bit of organization into your day. All of these lists that you see across the top are lists that I have created specifically that work for me. And in order to create one of these lists, and I'm going to use the upcoming list to show you it. Let me go back a minute. Yeah, we're going to add a new list. Come on. And it, there we go. So I'm adding a new list, and I'm going to add this as Pearson to do. Now I've created a new list. And what this is going to do, and this is going to go by your projects, it's going to go by whatever you need to do in your email, whether it's personal or it's business. I'm going to take any one of these emails over here, and I am going to actually move it into this list. All right. Moving this into this list now brings it to the forefront. It is still in my list over here, but now I've got it in a specific area so that I can add tasks and I can do anything that I need to do with it. So if I open up what I just moved over here, I can now make notes on this email. I can do whatever needs to be done, and it's all within Gmail. All right. And this will help me be able to, if this was a meeting that I needed, I'm having on the phone, and I can put notes onto the meeting so that I know what I'm doing. If I needed to schedule out to this email to be looked at again on the 9th, I can schedule it out to be looked at on the 9th, and I'm not losing it. If I needed an alert on this email, I can enable the desktop notifications on anything that comes on this email. This sorted, I've been working in it for the last 6 months, and it has helped organize all of my different projects. And one of the things about Gmail that can either be a hindrance or be positive, some people, it will stack your emails if you choose for it to stack your emails. So all of the emails for a particular person will all show up underneath each other. You can lose emails that way. A lot of people prefer to unstack their emails, which is what I've done in my own Gmail account. And that way they're all individual come in, but now you've lost that thread. All right, so sorted gives you back the thread without clumping them up and potentially losing an email.
So I have a question, Doreen. When you do this, as you sort them, do they stay in your inbox, or they go and show up as an unread email or an email in your inbox, or does it just automatically go to your sorted, or does it both?
Yeah, right here is the email for that email that I moved over to that one. You see where it says sorted on the side right here?
I see. Yes.
It stays in your inbox.
Okay.
All right. Now here's the other thing behind it. If you're like me and you've created, and you should really organize your email because everything can get lost. If you've created folders on the side, I can move this over into its appropriate folder where it's supposed to go. That way it's cleaned up my inbox. I've looked at it. I go back to sorted. It's still exactly where it was before.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, so what this does is now, I don't know how many of you guys, I mean, I get tons of emails a day. I work with multiple clients, and they're always sending me stuff. So I need to be organized. I need to organize everything that I've got, whether it's a to-do, whether I'm following up for somebody or anything else like that. And Sorted allows you to do that. Sorted also allows you to create tasks off of your emails. So with this same email, if I go back into it and I go into the view details again, I can go up to the top, and this little checkbox will allow me to say that I've created a task off of it. And then I can go into the notes and I can actually write what my task is. I can highlight this so that I know that this is something that of value. Sorted allows it really does allow you to take control of your inbox without having to go to another list to create. I don't know how many people do to-do lists. I know I do to-do lists, and they're all over everywhere that, where I've got to do my to-do list. But I can easily go into my Gmail, and I can create, I can do everything from my mail without using a whole bunch of different other applications to get the one thing done that I need. Now, the amazing thing about that, it also goes to any smartphone that you use. So Sorted is an application that you can download, and the same list, the same task list, everything that you're seeing on your own computer screen, you will also see in your Sorted application.
Okay, so what is it? SORTD?
It's SORTD, and it is a plugin for Gmail, and it allows, like I said, task management. You can do task management, to-do lists, follow-ups, anything. I mean, it is an amazing program for Gmail, and it is free. Now, this is the other part about our segment. is if I find something to shout out to the world, I'm going to look for something that is free or something that your company can grow into, which has a free platform and then may go up to another platform. I'm also, one of the benefits about having the Gmail account in itself versus a Yahoo account and everything else is if you go up to this little box that's at the top, you have all of these automatic applications that are a part of your Gmail, and they're sitting right here in the little square for your Gmails. And then there are so many marketplace applications that you can actually add to your Gmail. So if you're working in a team, a project management software that your team uses on a regular daily basis, I use Teamworks with my clients. So Teamworks has got a plugin that works for Gmail, and again, if you look at a lot of the different plugins or extensions that you can put into your Chrome or to your Firefox, you're going to find that they're all going to be based predominantly in Gmail. They're not going to be based in Yahoo. They're not going to be based in MSN. So that is why I highly recommend using Gmail versus the other accounts. It's an inclusive platform, and Google made it that way. And because Google makes so many other different applications from, the Word documents, your Google Docs, all of those other things, A Drive, it just integrates so easily, and it can make your day more productive when you're looking at one system, and a system that is online, that's not sitting on your computer, and a system that you can actually go mobile with as well. I don't know about anybody else in their businesses, but as an entrepreneur, the biggest thing that we want to be is mobile. You want to be able to sit there and say, I've got it, and it's right here in the palm of your hand, even when you're at a meeting.
So let me ask a question now that you said that. So if I'm using Gmail, if I'm using this business platform for Gmail, whether I'm on my laptop, whether I'm on a desktop, whether I'm on an iPad or even my iPhone or my Android platform phone, I can access this on any of those technology instruments?
Yes, and they're synced and they're up to date.
Yay! Awesome.
Synced and up to date. So and now going back into that, when the internet started, everybody was on Internet Explorer. All right. Internet Explorer for a long time had a lot of security breaches and a lot of other different a lot of different web browsers came into play. There are still individuals who use Internet Explorer. I don't recommend Internet Explorer. I, at one time, was a huge Firefox individual. Firefox has a lot of different plugins, and it works very well for entrepreneurs who are looking to get organized as well. However, Chrome is Google's baby, so all extensions for Gmail or any Google applications you're going to find in Chrome. Chrome has, over the last couple of years, become a very stable platform. And again, because Chrome is made by Google, who is always, putting new technology to work, it's just what I recommend. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll go back and forth to Firefox a lot, and I'll use Firefox if I need to. There's a specific plugin that I might be using, so I'll go back and forth. But when you have when you've set up in Gmail and you've got your email, your folders all set up, you've got anything that you've added on the side over here set up, the minute you log into Firefox, any of the other places, you're gonna see the exact same thing. So, unlike having an Exchange folder or using Outlook, and you might upload to the cloud, there's a delay. And I love the pretty look of Outlook, and I wish that Gmail was just a little bit prettier. But the functionality in Gmail makes going from a desktop platform to the online platform so much better for entrepreneurs and business individuals.
Mhm.
Again, it's all about mobility.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question about switching browsers from Chrome to Firefox, because I do the same thing. So now everything, so the plugins are different for each of those two platforms, correct? But
They are.
so if I'm using Firefox, and I've used Firefox for years, but recently I've discovered that it's crashed a lot. I just updated mine, ran some scans on it, and if you're not running security scans on your computer on a regular basis, I highly suggest you do. At Doreen's recommendation, I use a program called Avast, A-V-A-S-T, and it is really very thorough in its capabilities to keep your computer safe from viruses and other things that could inhibit the use of your computer. So I strongly suggest that. But the question that I have, Doreen, is if I'm using, for example, let's talk about LastPass for a second. I don't want to jump around here, but like I have bookmarks, and I have my LastPass, which is which is the password savers. How many of you? I can't see you, so but just answer this question in your head. How many times have you wanted to get into one of your accounts and you just cannot remember your password? If you don't have a password storage system on your computer, I highly suggest you do. LastPass is very secure. I'll ask Doreen to talk about that in a second. But my question is, I have my LastPass in the Firefox browser. What does it take to be able to get that the password information onto the Chrome platform as I transition from Firefox to Chrome? And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to change their platform, their browsers once we finish this conversation. So what's the deal on switching things from what you're using now to Chrome, or what you will be using in the future?
Okay, so when you go to in software, and we'll use LastPass because this little icon right here, that's LastPass. I do use LastPass, and I love LastPass because it's got a 2-tier authentication, and it is very secure. And you can either have LastPass do the passwords for you and you can scramble them up, or you can put a password in there and it will save it for you. And you have to do authentication when you log into it. But all of the different extensions that work with your internet browsers, you're going to find those in add-ons. And there's an add-on for Chrome. And here's the catch. All you're doing is logging in with your credentials for LastPass, and it's going to automatically have all your passwords in there. So it's the same way across the board for, let's say, Zoom, the platform we're using right now. This little icon up here is for Zoom, and it is, I logged in underneath my login, both here and in Firefox. And as long as I'm logging in underneath my credentials, it's going to be synced. It's going to do the same exact thing that you want it to do in either browser. And I recommend playing in the different browsers. Sorted works the best within Chrome. And it gives you all the functionality within Chrome. So I found that a lot of the add-ons for both Firefox and for Chrome, a lot of times, because again, Google is constantly updating to the latest version of everything, the developers will work and ensure that those add-ons are working. All you've got to do on any application that you're using, and I recommend it especially if it's an application that you're using on a very regular basis, look for the browser extension on the application page. I know LastPass has both the the Chrome and the Firefox extension that you can add to your bar at the top.
Okay.
Up here. So it's just simply grabbing the add-on and adding it into your browser. And for individuals who don't know how to see, with Google, it's called the Google. With Chrome, it's the Google Store. And if you were to, I believe, type in Google Store, It's going to bring up all of the different applications that you can use. Okay, took it to the wrong one. We'll go back one. Oh, here we go. Chrome Web Store extensions.
Okay.
So if you go right here, these are all the different extensions that you can actually add up here to your bar.
Are there any, while you have this open, are there any that you recommend for people to get on their computer that would increase the efficiency of the use of Chrome automatically, or is it something that is individual to each person and how they use their browser?
It's very individual to each person and how they use their browser. If you look up at mine up here, my project management system is Teamworks. So I can go to my Teamworks right here just by clicking this without typing in a web browser, without doing anything.
Great program, by the way. I have to tell you, it makes life so easy.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of the ones that we're going to show during the tech time. But the extensions up at the top up here are all what I use on a regular basis. I'm constantly using Zoom. I have a Google Voice. For small businesses, I don't want everybody having my cell number. I can't afford my own answering service, I don't wish to have my own answering service. So I use Google Voice, and Google Voice is a free extension to Google. Also comes when you get a Gmail account, you can get a Google Voice account. It will send you an email to your Gmail account letting you know that you got a message. You can forward it to your cell phone. There's an app that you can put onto your cell phone, which you can dial out of, so that when you are making a phone call, it is not showing up as your cell number. There's just so many different areas of, there's so many different applications that Google offers, and all of them are free, that you can use in your business when you're starting it out and when you are very cognizant of that bottom line of what you're looking at spending in your business. And the funny thing is I started, when I first started my business, I used another application as a phone system, and I was spending like $60 a month, and I would call in, and I would have to call into the system to get my messages and doing everything else. And then Google decided they wanted to do Google Voice, and I said, let me just try it. And I went over to Google Voice, and I have now been with Google Voice for 4 years. I've had the same telephone number, and all my messages are stored up in the Google Voice cloud, so that I can go back and I can listen to anything that may have come. I get a text on my phone when I get a Google Voice message letting me know that there is now a Google Voice message, and then they try to transcribe it. Sometimes it looks crazy when it's transcribed, and I get this, what were they trying to say? But I can always listen to it and everything else.
And you can answer a Google Voice call on your computer too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And if you've got Hangouts open, your Google Voice will come to you in a message.
Yes.
So I can't say enough about all of the different things that Google offers us as small business owners to make our lives easier, and to be able to actually run a business as if we've got lots of people behind us, when it may be 1 or 2 people working the business. So when you're looking at the Chrome Web Store, the very first thing that I would recommend, even in the Firefox extension, look for any applications that that you use regularly. LastPass I use regularly. Zoom I use regularly. I'm a Todoist. I use Todoist, and I use it regularly. So it's up on my in my toolbar.
Yeah.
Amazon is my friend. I love Amazon, and I've got the Amazon one up here. So if I'm looking at my list, if somebody recommends a book or anything else, I can actually go on in there. So they've got an Amazon assistant. So it will be definitely individualized to everybody and what they need in their business. Pinterest has one up there. Yeah, I mean, you could go, I can just, go down just looking at the list. There's so many different things that, people don't realize, that they can add on and make their lives so easy just by simply clicking it. I do have one that I use, Evernote. A lot of people use Evernote. Evernote's a great one as well. There is an extension that, this find email addresses. I can go out and I can look for an email address. It's called Hunter. And if I'm looking for somebody in an email address, I mean, they got a paid version and a free version. I don't do it very often, but there's every once in a while that I may need to find the email address on a certain page. And instead of going through the whole page, you can go in there and it will show you all of the email addresses that are on that page. So, there's just so many different stuff. You'd have to really go into the Chrome store or into Firefox extensions to be able to see exactly what they do. Now, every once in a while, you'll come across a website that absolutely, and they're much older sites, want you to use Internet Explorer. Believe it or not, Chrome and Firefox have an extension that will allow you to see Internet Explorer websites just by adding the extension.
Okay, awesome. Wow.
I want to stop right here for a second, and I want to ask: does anybody have any questions about what I've brought out there? Because we've talked a lot about it, and I just by a show of hands, how many people are actually using Gmail versus any of the other free applications that they have?
If you are a person star 9 on your phone, Doreen, can we go back to the regular screen for a second?
Your screen, absolutely.
Yeah, go back to the Zoom screen. There we go. Hi everyone who joined us in the meanwhile. Good to see you all. So really, that was really informational. Like, I had no idea all those extensions were available for Chrome or Firefox, and that it could make it that much easier for us to navigate the web and sort our emails. I love the sorted. For sure, I'm switching over, girl. I'm switching things over. All right, so here's, I have a couple of questions in the chat. Philomena, I have a few questions directed to Doreen in prior posts. What I liked about the task area already in Gmail had a due date. Is there one in sorted?
Yes.
Okay.
Once you move it over, if you click the edit the details on it, you can assign a task date. You can assign whether it's a task, whether it's a follow-up, and there's a big difference because tasks do have a tendency to maybe be moved to another time, and you can move it. And a follow-up, you may be just a date that is absolute. So you can set it up as a follow-up, you can set it up as a task, and you can give it due dates. You can write notes, and let's say for an instance on a follow-up, if you've got it as a follow-up and you've made that phone call and you've got voicemail, you saw earlier there's a notes section. Date it, say that you left a message. When you go back to that email, now you have it all in one spot. I don't know how many of you, I still am old school. I use my iPhone. I do have my calendar that I use, but there's just so much you can write down and you can do everything. And if you can automate your life, even if it takes it gives you back an hour, think about as an entrepreneur what that hour can do for you. I mean, I don't know what your billing rates are, but if you're a coach and your billing rate is, $150 an hour with someone, that's $150 that you've got now back in your pocket because you can spend it with your clients.
Right.
So the whole point about technology is that we want it to be able to automate us so much that we are on autopilot on things that need to be done on autopilot, but our hands are still there. We can still see what we need to see, and we're still doing what we need to do. Mm-hmm. We're just actually organizing ourselves in a manner, and everybody's going to use different technologies for their business, but we have to have a foundation.
Right.
And when you have a great foundation that gives you all of these amazing things, like I said, Gmail does, then you've just started to build. And I always recommend trying something free first. And if they don't give you the option to try it for free, you might want to wonder why they're not giving you that option first.
Mhm.
All right. Because what happens is a lot of times, excuse me, people will be like, oh, I got to try this. And then they go and there's no option to try it for the 30 days or there's not a free version of it. Then you're like, you pay for that first month. And I don't know about you guys, but there's been plenty of times that I paid for a first month and then realized I couldn't go out there and use it that first month because I was so busy doing everything else. And so then now I paid for something that I've not even used, I've not even tried, I've not done anything with. So I always look at the free version first,
Yes.
play with it, and see if it's something that's going to work for me. If it's not something that's going to work for me, then I automatically know it's not going to go into my daily routine with the technology that I do use.
Okay. So anybody have a question? Raise your hand. Anybody have a question? If you're on the phone, *9 will raise your hand for me. Also, there's a question about, Philomena said, Philomena, I'm going to unblock you. If you could just like ask your question because I'm a little bit unclear here. So just let me just unmute you.
Okay.
Hi, Philomena.
Hi, Philomena.
Hi, Doreen. I heard you mention earlier that if you get an account for $50, you can use your domain name as an email from.
What happens is that your Gmail account becomes your domain name.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
But here's the question. I have a domain name that's being hosted by Bluehost, and I can go into the Bluehost and forward all my mail for free to my Better Day Gmail account. So why wouldn't you do that? Instead of paying extra.
I understand what you're saying.
Oh.
So here's the benefit is that when you're using the Gmail platform, first of all, you're forwarding. And so there's a delay in your emails coming from one to another. Secondly, if you don't set up your Gmail properly, when you are emailing out, it's going to email from your Gmail account and not from your domain name account. So
I've done that.
Yeah, so you've done that. And then thirdly, you don't get all of the other application options to set up and add on to your email account. When you do the Google domain, you get the ability to add on all of the different add-on tools to your Google account. And I'm going to share my screen again for just a second because I'm going to show you one that is specific to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So right here, I need to move this out. So all of these are all of the Gmail applications. But down here, I use Schedule Once for my scheduling, and I use Teamworks as my project management. I was only able to add these because of the fact that I have a business account. So they are connected directly with my business account. When you are doing the business side of everything, you also get sites and you get a free A drive, which is where you can upload stuff and everything else. So and for $50, which is $4 a month, it makes a lot of sense to be able to add. And now that you've got your Gmail account, and I don't know how many of you guys are in associations or anything else that gives you another email account. Now from the back end, you go from being able to manage 3 accounts back there to being able to manage almost 10 accounts being forwarded to your Gmail account. And you can reply to those accounts using those email addresses, although they're going to your one Gmail account. Did that answer your question, Philomena?
I think so, because it was a little tricky to set up the email going out of Gmail as if it were coming out of my domain name.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's an extra step that you no longer need to take.
That
I only take it once.
Yeah, that and on your phone, when you forward, it's the same thing. You get to choose who you're sending stuff to and everything else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it goes back to being that mobility. It goes back to being able to look at one spot for everything. And I don't know about you guys. And here's the other thing too. In your hosting account, you have a quota. It doesn't matter how it's set. And I am going to unshare again, stop sharing, because Karen can testify to this, because this has happened to Karen several different times, is that in your hosting account, because now you've got it all forwarded to your Gmail account, you very rarely go look at your hosting account. They sit in your hosting account as unread emails. They take up space in your hosting account. And at some point when you reach your quota, you're going to stop getting your emails until you go into your hosting account and clean out all those emails.
Wow. Yeah. So great stuff. Thank you, Philomena.
Thank you.
Questions answered?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. All right. So anyone else have a question for Doreen? You did
I hope everybody's finding this useful and helpful. And I really do encourage everyone, if you do have a question, send them in, use the contact form. By the end of today, Tech Time is going to be on there as one of the questions where you can, one of the items you can check off so that you can ask a question on. Send them in, and we will be able to cover everything, because I will bring something to the table that I think is that will be very useful to entrepreneurs and small business individuals. But I'm also going to be answering any questions that come up. Technology can really be one of those things that is hit and miss, and you may seriously be like, do I need this? Or you may not even have the time to even look at it. I've had several clients ask me, they've come to me and said, oh, does this work? Or do you recommend this for my business? And then and a lot of times, because I have a variety of clients who are in a variety of industries, I may have touched it and said, oh, this is horrible, or oh, this is the most amazing thing next to chocolate, so any questions that you have, please don't hesitate to bring them to the table, because that right there is the key to ensuring that we're all successful in our businesses. We don't want to be running our business, we want our businesses to be running on their own so that we can be making the money, so we can be bringing in the money, and if you're task oriented all the time, if you're not able to get yourself into a platform that's going to allow you to be able to do things other than make sure that you're not missing anything, you're not going to be able to move forward and progress. That's just a reality across the board.
Okay. Doreen, if you could just go to transformationaltuesdays.com and go to the contact page. This is where you're going to be putting your questions for the next Tech Time conversation. If you can, and Transformational Tuesdays has a new look, so we're going to give you just a quick overview here of what we're doing. And the biggest thing would be for us to look at here we go. All right, so on the first page, the last conversation that we had is going to be on your first page. You can look at it, as a video. And for those of you who are on the phone, when this one goes up, I highly suggest that you go to that video and review everything that Doreen just talked about. You don't have to be, those of you who are on the computer right now, you've seen it live. But those of you who are on the phone have not. And I strongly suggest you go back and view this video that will be up there probably by the end of the week. So that you can get the full benefit of what Doreen has brought to you today. So that's on the first page. I really am interested in the contact area, Doreen. Go there. So here's the contact. And Doreen, you want to take us through this?
Yeah, so obviously Teresa has her hands on a lot of different things. So when she's responding, she wants to be able to be as specific as she can. What we're going to see, the only difference is that you're going to now see a Tech Time up here. So if you just check Tech Time and you put your question down here, then I will be able to, by our next call, if I need to research it. If not, just add it to the agenda so that it's something that I talk about and I'm able to give it to everyone. So just simply fill out the form and click Tech Time if it's for a Tech Time question, and then go ahead and provide all of the different information in here, okay? Now, there's also there's the ability to do so much more in here. So if you've got any other questions, by all means, this is the perfect place to be able to get in touch directly with Teresa, because this will go right back to her. So but this will be where you can submit any of your questions that you might have in the technology area.
Awesome. Great. Okay, yeah. Thank you. So this is where you want to get in touch with me, and if you want me to reach you by phone, be sure to put your phone number in the space where it allows for that. So, and I'm happy to return your calls. One question that came across here, can you just spend a few minutes talking about, just real quick, Facebook Live? There's so much. I used it once, and I know that I can access it from my personal page. Can you do a Facebook Live from a business page or a group page or a like page, one of your your business page? Can you do a Facebook Live from there? And there's been a lot of conversation about how Facebook is really watching what you're doing live. There's been lots of stuff that has gone on, including some horrific things like. This is horrible, and I hate to even say it. Somebody committed suicide on Facebook Live. Somebody beat the crap out of and humiliated a disabled boy and videotaped the whole thing, and it was Facebook Live, and there's no shutting that off. So they had to these things had to be taken down by Facebook. So if you're using Facebook Live, not that anybody in this community has to be warned to do it, to use it properly. There are people who are out there using it for the wrong purposes. But if you're using Facebook Live, Doreen, what's the best way to actually use it? Can you do it through a page, or does it have to be direct from your own Facebook page?
It has to be directly from your own Facebook page right now.
Okay. But it can be shared to a business page, correct?
It can be shared to a business page.
Okay.
And, Facebook Live came around right after Periscope did. And if utilized properly, any of those platforms are a great way to get your message out to your potential clients or even to your, customers. So when you go on Facebook Live, have an agenda, stick to the agenda, make sure that what you're sharing is something that is going to be pertinent and informative and everything else, so that other people are going to want to share it, and I love, and she was here earlier and I think she's off, Denise does a lot of Facebook Lives and she does them amazingly. And, the thing about Facebook Live is it's a way to really interact with your with the people who are coming into that room with you. So acknowledge the people who are coming into the room while still going into your messages and everything else. But it is an amazing tool for businesses. It's free, and if you are someone who get in front of a computer, get in front of a camera and speak and be authentic and be everything else, it is one of the best platforms that you can use in order to get your message out there and then get shared across, just move it wherever you want to move it to. Yeah. Now, the bad thing about Facebook Live is that you can't share, the video is in the cloud, but there's no downloading it. It is a part of Facebook. Facebook has much the rights to it. And I've got another client, and what she does is while she's Facebook Living, she's Periscoping. So she's got her computer with the Periscope going, she's got her Facebook Live going, and then she downloads Periscope. Because Periscope downloads automatically to your phone. Now you've saved your video. But there's always a different way to do it, to get around a system that you're like, well, darn, I just really want to be on Facebook Live. Well, Periscope too. That's Twitter. There's been so many social media platforms that have come out, but there's 3 that are still at the top of the table, and that's Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Those 3 right there are the 3 that no matter where your business is going, you need to be in them. The Millennium, they're using Snapchat, they're using Instagram, they're using Pinterest. They're all great platforms, if you have the time to use those platforms as well. If you are looking to dabble in social media and do the exposure, I would always start with the top 3, see how much how much time those take, and then slowly add the others to your platform.
The top 3 are what?
Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
And that's where, when you're a guest on Transformational Tuesdays, I am posting you on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook for people in those communities to know that you are a guest here. The question about just not to spend a lot of time on this, but when you're doing a Facebook Live, is there a limit on how much time you can have? And here's the big question. Especially because, and I love what you said about, using it for your business. A lot of people, before I took Transformational Tuesdays onto the Zoom platform, they only knew me by my voice. They didn't know who I was. They didn't see my face. They can't see the whole of me authentically. But if people want to know who you are face to face, they want to look in your eyes. They want to see, are you for real? And I think that this is an amazing tool for people who are out there in the community with their businesses, for people to know you on a deeper level. So, even if you put like a 2-minute video out there, or just something that says, hey, I use, the only time I use Facebook Live, and I will use it more, is when we promoted the Purpose Shakers book. And that was such great fun, I have to tell you. It was so good to see people that, I have a friend who lives literally down the block who I can't get together for coffee with, but yet she was on my Facebook Live. I got a chance to talk to her through Facebook Live. It was hysterical. But so you're reaching people on a different level. You're going deeper in your relationship with people by them seeing your face and hear you talk, and so forth and so on. There's no limit for time, but what is the suggested time frame that people will actually watch your video, start to finish, on a Facebook Live?
I recommend on Facebook Live 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. But here's the thing. If you are sharing a message, if you're speaking about something that you have gathered, I would also look at who's listening and who's watching. If you've got 30 people watching after 10 minutes, keep going, because you've got a captured audience, But if you see people dropping, wind it down, bring it down. Because the Facebook, those lives are going to stay on there, and people will watch them again and again. And I had a person who was on my Facebook Live, and it's funny is, as a business person, I look at using Facebook Live or any of those other platforms, video platforms, for my business. I don't look at using them for personal matters. And I had a friend who just started using what is that thing that you put on your face, and they've got all the different games, and you're like in a virtual reality. They've got the TV commercial on, and it was her first time using it. So that was her first Facebook Live post. Is she's sitting there with this video thing on, and her husband is videotaping her as she's having this experience while she's on here. But she got, and she's local to Memphis, I think she got about 10,000 hits, because all the comments that were going down the page were talking about how funny she was while she was doing it. But be interactive and be cognizant of who is actually watching. Because like I said, if you've got 30 people on there, you don't want to cut them off.
Yeah.
They're interactive. They're listening to your message. If you see people dropping, wind it down.
Yeah, good advice there. Good advice. So Doreen, we only have like 6 minutes left. And just to reiterate, those Facebook Lives can be shared on your group pages, community pages, like pages. You can actually share them onto anyone. Now, once they're on there, where do they get stored? In the video segment that you have there, or are they always in the feed?
No, they'll be on your own. They'll be on your line, and so that you can share them. You've got to find them. They're not shared up in the videos. I'm almost positive about that. I don't play with Facebook Live all the time. My clients do, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be in your video feed. Those are videos you've actually uploaded.
Okay, and do you have to wait until you're done with the video in order to be able to share it, or can you share it while you're live? You have to wait till you're done to share it. Okay.
Now, and the other thing that I recommend is when you're doing your Facebook Live, Your Facebook, it allows you to put a description and everything on there. Be clear, you know, because what Facebook does is it actually does an algorithm of what you've put in that description, and you'll see if you've never done a Facebook Live and you do your first one, it's going to say finding your audience. It's finding your audience based on what you've put up there as something that you're going to speak about. So it's finding your audience and your friends, people who know you, but maybe somebody who might be interested in one of the words that you put in there. They've done a lot of search for motivational quotes or something like that. So be very clear in the description of what you're talking about.
Okay, awesome. So in the last few minutes, anybody have a question? Raise your hand if you have a question. Okay. So Doreen, so we covered a lot of information today, and this is the way I'm hoping that every tech time that we do is going to be. We'll bring a platform, we'll bring questions about something that you may be using. And again, please give us advance notice using the contact page on transformationaltuesdays.com. Those emails will come to me. I will get with Doreen. We'll create a plan for the next Tech Time Live, and we will get your questions answered. Doreen, sum it up for us. Gmail sorted. They are the things to be using to manage your email and your work properly. I don't think $50 is a huge investment. I am going to absolutely be switching over to the business model for Gmail.
And Gmail, and they do it in two ways. They will do the $4.95 a month, or they'll take the full $50.
Okay.
And when you set up your Gmail, your Google for Business, you've also now set up your Google Shop. So now, I don't know how many people go out there, and sometimes it says they only use Google Shop. So now your information is stored, and you can use Google Shop automatically.
Okay.
But there, you can also now, it's $50 per person. So let's say that you are an organization and there's 5 people in your organization. You can set them all up underneath your email, but it's $50 per person. So per email account. The other thing behind that is and this goes back to Philomena's question. When you're hosting your email through a hosting company, you have to set up all of these other emails, and you've got to give them quota amounts that you can put in, like information at, all of these other emails. When you use the Google account, you can set up ghosts, which are not even email accounts to catch anything, which automatically go to your main email. So for me, I have info@ambitions.com. That's not even a real email address. It's a ghost email address that goes directly to D. Harper, but when I'm putting something out there, I may not want to put D. Harper out there. PayPal. I don't want everybody to have my PayPal email address. It's set up as a ghost email address that forwards to D. Harper, and that way that PayPal email address is different than anything else. And you've got an unlimited amount of those that you can use.
That's amazing, and that's wonderful, especially if you've got different websites and platforms that you're using out there for your business. It's a great way to manage all of this in one place.
Yeah. Now each domain there's in themselves. You can just have a bunch of emails addresses in each domain.
Right.
So we'll take, for instance, you've got Authentic Endeavors, you've got Transformational Tuesdays, you've got teresavelardi.com. Each one of those you'd have to spend $50 on if you wanted each one of those to go to a Gmail account. I wouldn't recommend that. Your main company would go to your Gmail account, and then any other company you would cipher in on the back end the way that Philomena was talking about, but now you've got more room to do that. And then any external extra email addresses you might have for each one of those domains, you can add them in there, and it's really pointing to one email address.
Awesome. Yay! Great stuff. Make sure that you explore all of the different extensions and apps that are available for Chrome and or Firefox if you still insist on using that. There is a learning curve involved in moving from one to another, and set aside some time when you make a decision to change browsers or or to use this new information and set things up the way that Doreen has suggested, give yourself some time to learn and really get used to these new platforms, so that you don't get frustrated when it actually comes time to using them. And if you have questions, send them to us. And Doreen, would you be willing to email answers back to people?
I would. I would also like to say, if you need one-on-one help with anything, let's just say you do decide to go to Google Business or anything else, I do have 2-hour packages that I absolutely I can send your way, and those 2 hours can be used within 30 days, and I can answer and do a one-on-one session with you and get you all set up on everything.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
There's just a variety of ways to do everything, but any piece of software, they work amazing for me, and I'm bringing them to the forefront for you. But test them. Make sure that they're going to fit in with your business needs and the strategies that you're going to use for your own business. And I really recommend exploring the different platforms that I do bring up to the table, just because they're tried and tested. And with that being said, they may or may not work for you, but at least you can come back and say, well, I've got a lot of answers already answered on them, so that I can go in and I can do a little bit of playing on it.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure that you send your questions our way, and we can go ahead and handle them however it best suits everyone. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Doreen. So it's great information. And thanks for answering the questions on Facebook Live. They've been questions that I've had, and obviously a few other people in the community have had. So thank you so much for answering those. And we appreciate you very much. And we look forward to the next Tech Time. Remember, this is going to happen every 6 weeks on Transformational Tuesdays. And in the meanwhile, if you're using something, here's another thing I wanted to say before we close. I know that I work with, sometimes I'm working with a coach on my own stuff. And if you don't have a coach, if there's something that you want to do and you don't know how to do it, or there's some things out there, there are people who offer a lot of different coaching on a lot of different things that are available that will help you with your business online. If you're working with a coach and they're suggesting that you use a particular platform to do this, and you have something else in place that does the same thing as that platform does, explore and decide whether or not you need to spend the extra money, or do you have it in place already. Check with your webmaster if you have a webmaster or an online business manager like Doreen, who can give you the best advice. Recently I was coaching with someone who was wanting us to use a particular platform, and I have the same thing in place with what Doreen has put in place for me throughout the years that I've been working for her, and there was no need for me to spend money on that other platform. It would have been actually additional work. So be sure before you jump in and get on board somebody else's train that you explore what you already have, so that you know whether or not it's going to do the same thing in a little different manner than what the other one will do. Save yourself some money. Put that money somewhere else in your business. Put it into time with someone who can tell you what you need or suggest what is going to be a good thing. And that's what we're going to plan on doing. That's what we're doing here on Tech Time. We want to bring you the best platforms, the best tools for you to be able to use what you already have efficiently and effectively to attract your clients, to make your business more automated, as Doreen said, and to be able to give you everything that you need with ease and comfort and coaching and whatever it is that you need in order to be able to work online efficiently. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, and the thing is that a lot of times when people are recommending, if it's a part of their program, there is an affiliate that's attached to it. So it's to their benefit that you jump on board on their platform, whatever they're suggesting that you use.
Right.
And if you don't have anything in place, that's okay. But if you've already got something in place and it's working, you don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. So thanks again, Doreen. Thanks everybody who joined us. Be sure to come back next week when we have Philomena. Are you saying goodbye, or did you have something? Okay. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Next week we have CCS Foot, who is going to join us. That's going to be a great conversation. Karen, it's so good to see you live on here. So thanks for joining us. And thank you for joining us. Ramsia, is that how you say your name? Ramsia? Yeah, I can't hear you. Hang on. I can't hear you.
Ramona?
Ramona. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Read lips more often. Say nothing bad about me no more underneath his breath.
Thanks, everybody. I so appreciate you. And again, if you were on the phone and you want to look at this video live, it will be on transformationaltuesdays.com on the front page, hopefully before the end of the week, so you can view the shared screens and know the value of what Doreen has presented. Once again, thanks for joining us, and until next time, enjoy traveling what I like to call the transformational trails of life. Have a great day, everybody.